Hi everyone. Alright, so getting ready here. Oh, looking really good on our trade. As you remember yesterday, we had a few setups in Forex, did very well. Let me just finish this text here. Alright. Whoa. So, let's go over this Forex pair. I hope everybody is having a great trading day. Boy, we've been trading this euro dollar, doing really well. Wonderful for the opportunity to be here with everybody today. And remember, trading is not easy. A support group is very helpful. And we're here for you. All right. Now, yesterday, if you didn't see that video, go back. I talked about the Australian dollar versus the New Zealand dollar. Let me explain some of the movement here that you're seeing, or just the chart in general. We made our way up here, and in the beginning of the week, the New Zealand bank, the central bank, was not as bearish on the economy as many anticipated. Therefore, we did see selling in the currency, or even, I was going to say this one here, selling, but more so what we saw was New Zealand buying. It's, oftentimes actually, a lot of traders do play this Aussie-New Zealand during that announcement. Okay. This big dip down here was that central bank announcement. Then we had a move higher. But I want to point out something that's really important to remember. I drew my Fibonacci retracement. We came up to the 50 fib just like I preach all the time. And now we are starting that head and shoulders pattern. The head and shoulders pattern, especially on the higher time frames, such as this 4-hour chart, is really a good pattern to follow, because the percent of this working out is in the 80s, according to just general back texting in mine as well. Some like to play the Australian, New Zealand with the stock market, and I'm going to show you the stock market here. It's starting to sell a little bit. And the whole idea there is that in times of equity selling, a lot of times what you'll get here, and that was gold futures that I just covered with the other chart. But as I was saying, in times of equity selling, a lot of times the Australian dollar gets hit harder than the New Zealand, therefore bringing this pair down. So the fact that we're seeing some selling in equities helps our cause here in being short on the Australian versus New Zealand. Now, I'm not going to go over too much futures in this room here. We save that for our other room, which is the futures trading room. But what I am going to do is dissect some of the trades that we had this week, explain them, and then this right here is a live trade, and this is the Australian versus New Zealand, like I said, and it's a trade that warrants attention, not only because of the technical setup, but also because of the fundamentals that are coming into play here. All right. Now, I know some people rule out fundamentals if they're technical traders, but I don't rule out anything. Anything that can help us as traders, whatever it may be, news, fundamentals, technical, I'm going to consider, because the outcome in general is going to be profits. It's not entertainment. Some people love that non-farm payroll, which for you new traders is non-farm payroll comes the first Friday of the month, and it's a compilation of economic information regarding the status of the job reports, and it's basically dissected, the private sector, so to speak. And as a result, traders love that because they like the action. I'm not trading for action. I'm trading for profits. And profits is the end results. Oftentimes, I will skip non-farm payroll. I will skip FOMC and big announcements, sometimes GDP. The reason why is the spikes. Sometimes you're going to get those unpredictable spikes. And they're fun for some people. Their adrenaline is flowing. The thought that they can make a lot in a short period of time really motivates them to go ahead and play the gambling side of Forex. Not that Forex isn't a gamble. Any kind of trading is a gamble, but you're increasing that whole kind of Las Vegas mentality when you get involved in a situation like non-farm payroll. And I try to take more of a strategic approach than, the odds that you may have at Las Vegas. Therefore, I will often stay away from non-farm payrolls unless I really have a gauge of what I feel could happen. And then I plan accordingly with the stop, with the target. And if I don't, then I have a small position. Any rate, here's the Head and Shoulders playing out. That's the story. Okay, so why don't we jump around to another currency pair? Because let's face it, the Aussie-New Zealand is not a popular traded pair, which is one of the reasons why I'm trading it. Now here we have the Euro versus the USD. Many traders, including myself, were looking for a bounce at the lows, the weekly lows, and it was also the monthly low. Now, what better support than to take a trade off the monthly and the weekly lows? And I was like, wow, that percent chances here is pretty high that it bounces. So I did step in. But I didn't wait. Once I saw that it wasn't happening with a bounce, I took a very small loss. It was like 6 pips. Because I knew from experience, and yes, I've been burnt from my own dumbness many times, that if we broke this, let me zoom in a little bit. If we broke this 109 area, then we have the 88.80 area, 108.80, give or take. If we break that, then that's a clear signal that we got a stop run coming. And I apologize for all my yawning. sometimes I'm up at 4 a.m. And sometimes I do trade the night session. Okay, for me it's the night session. That would be the London session. So we haven't emerged out of this channel. I'm not looking for a long and I'm not looking for a short. However, I would favor a short if I was forced to take a trade. And that would be up here at 108.80 for a move back down and make new lows. All right. So here we have a simple trend line that was drawn here on the euro versus the dollar. I'm not seeing a turnaround for a bit. Could be wrong. And here we have the New Zealand. All right. And in New Zealand, this is the New Zealand versus the US dollar, by the way. Okay, the New Zealand, it's really been pretty choppy. All right. If you compare this to what's going on with the Aussie, on the charts, you're going to see two pairs that are just not looking too good. And let's jump to the 15 to really compare these two pairs. Now, obviously the Aussie dollar is falling a little bit faster. Let me close this, get a better view. But not much of a difference. So yeah, we may be waiting a while on this Australia versus New Zealand. We had some positive news out from New Zealand yesterday, some numbers. And they were pretty good. They came in a little bit above expectations. But that really didn't create any buying in the currency. I mean, it was just kind of flat, a little choppy. In fact, it sold a little bit. So, again, in my experience, there's been times where I've seen the New Zealand get bought on a market move to the downside in equities. So now, if I was forced to buy one of these currencies or sell, let's say sell, I would sell the Australian over the New Zealand just because they have more of a direct relationship with China. And considering what's going on in China with the virus, that's what I would be looking for. All right. Now let's look at the longer term charts on these pairs. And we're going to jump to the 4-hour 2 on the New Zealand. Not much of a difference there either. Now, they're both below their moving averages. There is divergence on the 4-hour here, which tells me we're going to move lower here. But look at the New Zealand. It doesn't have that divergence, so it kind of looks like it's going to turn around and go up. What's going to spark that? I have no idea. But if I was a trader and I had to take one long, I would be taking the New Zealand dollar long. Hence, it may be slow, but I think at some point we're going to come and revisit on the Australian versus the New Zealand. This area down here, let me close the two charts here. This area down here. I'll zoom out. Now zoom in. Right down here. 1.03. That's where I'm looking to see this pair in the next week. All right. Now, we have the numbers for the employment coming out next week. That can be a catalyst to move this pair. But again, you're putting two similar currency pairs together. Expect to see some chop. This is not a pair that I trade on the 5-minute, the 15, or the 30, or the 1 hour. I'm going to trade this on the 4-hour chart, the daily chart. That's what I'm going to trade this on. All right. Everybody has their own the different methodologies of trading. You can see over here getting a slight rebound off of that 20 period on the daily on the dollar CAD. So there's a lot of good technical setups here happening, and it's definitely a Friday. Definitely a slow Friday. Let's go ahead. So at this point, there's really not much to do. It's a 4-hour chart trade. It's not like it's a 5-minute trade. This is the only one that I am currently trading. All right. Now let's just take a quick look at news. All right, Bob, I'm going to get to that question in just a moment. And yes, I put the target and the stop. It's on the trade page. All right. No, I'm not going to post them on the Google chat. I don't even think I have that activated. Not the Google, I'm sorry, the YouTube. That's a good question. Well, it's definitely getting bid up right now. Definitely getting bid, as you can see. And yes, so here we are, 1580 gold futures. I am still bullish on this. And if you remember, I said, and go back to the videos, I said we're going to see 52 this week on oil, and we did. If you people don't want to follow the trades, well, hey, that's up to you. I'll be trading and making profits with or without you. All right, so at any rate, this is definitely not an ideal pair to see those fast moves, like I said, unless you're sometimes in Asian session, you're getting those really nice moves when you get the news, out of one of these two countries here. As far as the SPX, I had said that I would be looking for a move right around to the 34 area. At this point, I am cautiously bearish on the SPX. Okay. Cautiously bearish. And as far as Bitcoin is concerned, I'm starting to turn bearish on Bitcoin, so cautiously bearish at these levels, Bitcoin. Euro neutral, that would be euro dollar. I have the currency pairs there. If you want to log into the members section and look, you'll see. Yeah, Friday we take it slow, Bob. No, Eric, not in the dollar yen. Looking at that right now. The only trade right now is small trade on the SPX and that Aussie-New Zealand trade. That's it. And please, my friends out there on YouTube, check out some of the previous trades a few weeks ago. Check it out. Look at what we've done, and you will be quite impressed. We went long Bitcoin in the 8,000 area. Okay. This is going to put me to sleep. I'm going to take a little break. Yeah, Kathy, it's definitely one of those days. And, you know, Fridays is typically those type of days. So don't trade unless you really feel that you got something. Don't force a trade. Never. Never, never, never. Yep. Helmut. I agree. I do think that gold is going to come off next week. I mean, just based upon you know, the divergence that we're seeing. Absolutely, I definitely agree. Absolutely. Yeah, I know. A lot of people like to make recommendations, place trades, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to put their money where their mouth is, right? I agree. Good point. Mike, it's a Glock 19. It's also the best-selling gun in the U.S. Glock 19. Look it up. So, take a look here because this is kind of interesting, We saw a little pop here. Now check this out. We were talking about the correlation in stocks, right? So this is the 5-minute chart of the Aussie-New Zealand. Next to it is the 5-minute chart of the S&P. Right around that same time, we got the pop up in both of them. That's why I was saying if stocks drop, I want to be short the Australian versus the New Zealand. At least the way it's been behaving in the last few months. It's a really, really good, a good trade, Ed. Great job. Great job. Finally, he's taking his profits on the euro dollar for 230 pips. Good job. $10,837, huh? That's great. Very, very good. Well, I appreciate that, but you're the one that took the trade. I may have pointed it out to you, but it's your money on the line. You took the trade. So I commend you. I think it really depends, Tom. It's really going to depend on your trading style. For those of you who can't see the chat on YouTube, he's really asking what's the best time frame for day trading. I mean, that's going to depend on the style of your style. You don't want to take on, everybody has a different methodology when it comes to trading. You don't want to change someone's ways. For example, someone who's really impatient is probably better off with a low time frame doing day trading, where someone who just does not like to hold anything overnight because they get a headache and they can't sleep, you want to just stick to very, very short term trades. So really has a lot to do with the personality of the individual. Some people can hold for 2 weeks, not lose any sleep. Other people are checking it every 5 minutes. So determining what your personality is going to help you to determine what time frame you should be trading on, things like that. And don't get into trades that you haven't done your research on. You don't want to do that. Time and time again, I hear people saying the same thing over and over again. I have a hard stop here, or I don't have a stop, and that's okay if you're in a small trade and you have a plan, and but it's not okay if you're going to lie to yourself and you're going to pretend that you're going to take a profit, or get out of that if it doesn't go your way at a certain point, and then you never do. So just it's very important. I think you did a great trade. I mean, come on, 230 something pips. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I wouldn't get greedy, I think it was good, well executed. You followed our strategy here that we go over all the time. I mean, I only gained 98 pips on that trade. I think you did a good job. See, you have the patience to hold it, and that's what you did. I took mine off at that major support. And then I proceeded to, to buy it, which I lost 6 pips on that. But, to the downside, it was a nice move. Okay, so I subtract my 6 pips from my 98 pips. It's still a very good, a good trade. And that's what you got to look. You got to find a positive in the situation. So anyway, I think I'm going to take a break. I'm not really sure that this is an optimal time to trade. I know some people may be holding this into the week, and I will. I'm sending that out now. You should be getting that alert. Alright, just sent it. Alright, so yeah, don't really see this. If we get equity selling coming in for the rest of the day, we'll probably come down a little bit, but definitely it's a super slow situation happening here. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here on YouTube. And I will go ahead and spend some time with everybody in the membership trading room, and we'll go over some ideas that I have for next week. And please, I want you to share your ideas too. I want you to tell me what you think. I'm always open to suggestions, and we work together. That's what we're here for. This is not all about me. Sometimes I see trades that get emailed to me, and I'm like, wow, why didn't I see this? It's just the end result is that we must succeed. However we get that trade, that's not that important. What's important is we stick to our plan, and we do the best we can to succeed and make a profit. Alright, for all those on YouTube, I want to wish you a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. If you're married or have a girlfriend, don't forget to remember that it's Valentine's Day if you live in the U.S., because you don't want a cranky wife or a cranky girlfriend if for some reason you forget. I'm going to sign off. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will be doing a stream on Sunday for my friends out there as we go ahead and we put some of these trading room streams on YouTube Live. I don't think there's a lot out there now that know about this, but eventually the word's going to get out. We are a premier trading room over 10 years. I've been doing this for full time. 20 years total. Boy, do I love it. Boy, do I love it. There's nothing that I would rather be doing than this. Have a great one. And just want to leave off with this. The feeling that you get when you see someone turn their life around and can use some of the experience that you have had, the ups and the downs, and you can pass it along. There's nothing better than that. Hope I can do that for you. And enjoy your weekend.